Hello my chemical consumers and chemical enjoyers, welcome back to my insane ramblings. In today's unnecessary rant, Call of Duty, because the topic needs to be milked more, said literally no one other than me just then. By the way, when I say Call of Duty, I want to make this very clear. I'm talking about Modern Warfare, Black Ops, anything that says Call of Duty and then something else. I don't care about the title. I don't care if you say, oh, different game genres, can't compare this one to this one. I do not care. They have Call of Duty in them. I'm just comparing them all as one. Anyway, if you do enjoy this, make sure to like and subscribe, as it does show that you enjoyed, and it helps out the channel as well. Now, I think most of us can agree that the new Call of Duty games aren't that good. Well, at least not compared to the older ones. I mean, the maps are worse, the multiplayer hasn't changed, but also somehow managed to get worse. Don't even ask me how that works. And the zombies are abysmal, but one thing is still somewhat good. The campaigns, now, don't get me wrong, they've still definitely gone downhill, but I mean, they're also kind of the only good part about the newer games. But as I mentioned previously, the worst thing to come out of new COD is the zombies. The new COD zombies that have gotten so bad that even me, who isn't a massive fan of zombies in almost any game, still hates them. But as I mentioned, I'm not a massive fan of them, so I mean, I'm not one to really, explain or say whether this zombie's bad or this zombie's bad. However, but we have a special guest coming in today who has played and has a very strong opinion on the zombie maps and the game mode itself. Isn't that right, Josh?
Well, Jake, you got the special part right, and yes, I'm here today for the first time when I decided to talk about. Now, in my personal opinion, I think the COD franchise is just a really solid franchise. Lots of great games, campaigns, all that shit. But some of the more recent games that have been just pumping out each year have been absolutely fucking atrocious. Like, just a general example, Vanguard or BO4, and obviously people say, like, no, BO4 isn't that bad. But it was a walking dumpster fire of terrible, just shit. But if you look back at some of the masterpieces, Activision and Treyarch, they've worked together, they've produced some really outstanding games. You got Modern Warfare 2, 3, Black Ops 1 and 2, and some might even go as far as to say Black Ops 3. And personally, my favourite parts of the Black Ops games were 100% the zombies, and you just couldn't beat them whatsoever. Just the maps, the mechanics, everything to do with it, and just generally some of my best memories are from playing zombies maps, like Buried, Origins, 5, Kino, and even like Mob of the Dead and stuff like that, which I really think carried the zombies franchise back then. But then you compare them with the absolute piles of shite that have been pushed out that have been labelled as COD games, and you really just stop and think, wow, they've just stopped trying, haven't they? And I think they'll never top the classics. So, with like BO1 and 2 zombies wise. But they could at least try and make some different games. They could at least try to branch out with different stuff and not make just absolutely atrocious things. But I mean, that's just my opinion. And what does that matter anyway? Back to you, Jake.
I can guarantee I'm going to upset a few people. I mean, no one can really agree on the best COD game. It kind of depends. Some people say Modern Warfare, like 1 or 2. Others say Black Ops 1. Others say Black Ops 2. It's a mixed bag. But in my personal opinion, Call of Duty Ghosts is the best I'm... Okay, calm down. I'll see you down in the comments. Calm. I'm just kidding. Imagine. No. On a serious note, I think Black Ops 2 is the best COD game. Now, I know that's not really a controversial pick or anything like that. I mean, a lot of people do agree that Black Ops 2 is probably one of the better ones. However, is that mainly because of nostalgia? Kinda. I mean, for at least me personally, it was between Modern Warfare 2, BO1, and BO2. Because BO2 I have very good memories with. But Black Ops 1 has probably the best zombies, at least in my opinion. And Modern Warfare 2 is just overall a really fun and good game. But I think BO2 is the best. Not only does it give us unforgettable zombie maps like Origins, Buried, Mob of the Dead, which I mean, are just completely amazing. I remember spending, even me who's not a massive fan of them, the only zombies game I have really spent hours upon hours in is BO2 because of how fun it is. It did also give us Transit and Die Rise, which are admittingly stinkers, but the positives really outweigh the negatives here. To be honest, BO2 kind of feels like BO1 with better graphics, an overall better campaign in my opinion, and some pretty good maps like Nuketown 2025, Hijacked, and Raid. Raid being probably one of my favourite maps, but actually it's between Raid and Hijacked. I like the Nuketown 2025. That's Josh's personal favourite, isn't it?
Yeah, Nuketown 2025 is my favourite map in BO2.
But me personally, it's between Hijacked and Raid. They're kind of on the same level. Now, before I tell you the worst, I need to share something I found. Now, I was doing research for this video and stuff like that. Obviously, I needed to find out certain games, maps, because it's been a while since I've played a lot of these games. So I needed to just kind of refresh myself. I watched a few hours of content on them, and I went through countless, rankings. I think about, 14 plus rankings on all of the COD games, and BO3 on every single one of them, apart from, maybe one or two, was ridiculously low, and I don't know why. I mean, actually, the only, two reasons I could think of is because the campaign was the worst thing I have ever touched. I would rather be tortured than even trying to finish that campaign. And yes, I admit it, I didn't even finish it. I got 5 hours into it and I was feeling physical pain from playing it. It was that bad. Oh yeah, and they also removed gun game. I will never forgive them for that, to be honest. But other than that, I really enjoyed the movement, the zombies, even if most of the better maps were just remasters. I mean, it still had some pretty good original maps, at least in my opinion, but most of the best maps were just remasters. Anyway, the worst COD game. Now, I know a lot of you are going to be really confused when I say this. I think the worst COD game is Black Ops 4. Without a question in my mind, is Black Ops 4 the worst game? To be fair, it was out of Black Ops 4 and Advanced Warfare, but Advanced Warfare had a really good idea that I could almost see and understand. It was just executed so poorly that the game was almost unplayable for many. However, Black Ops 4, there was no idea behind that. It was just bad. The entire game is basically just a cash grab. I mean, there was no campaign, the zombies was ass, the multiplayer was just barely okay. I mean, it was just terrible. It just felt like a cheap cash grab. It's that bad that I don't really have anything else to even say about it. It was just really terrible. So, in conclusion, BO2 is the best game, BO4 can burn in hell, and BO3 bring back gun game.